Alright everybody, we are hopping into a 200% showcase video for the new free-to-play INT domain Trunks. Here he is with the domain Wasteland Future. So we've got him here at level 10 links. We have got his special unique equips on him now. I do think that you want to go with the dodge and defense equips that you can get for this guy. If you don't know, from his story event, they added a stage here in part 3 where you can farm up these EX equips. I do have a video of the on the channel of that. It was up like yesterday on Monday or Sunday maybe. If you just scroll down a little bit, or if you go to like the guides playlist, you should be able to find it in there. And I will also probably link it somewhere in this video, so be on the lookout for that. But anyway, you can get these very powerful equipment here. So this one gives us, I believe, what is it, 4 dodge? No, 6 dodge and 600 defense. This one right here gives us 600 defense and 4 dodge. And then this one right here gives us 800 defense. So we're getting a total boost of 2,000 defense, just raw to our stats, and then we can boost up to 30 dodge. So I did go full dodge on my Trunks. I think that is the play. Because I don't think this guy is going to be super impressive. We are on a 200% team here. We have a ton of support. I'm in the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will Stage 4. That's just where I like to do showcases now. We do have a ton of support here, just overall on the team. The only support unit I didn't bring was Bulma. I'll be honest, I forgot to bring her. So if we die for some reason, I'll throw her on the team, but we should be fine otherwise. Anyway, so Trunks here, we'll go over his passive at the end. The important thing here that we need to know is that he does build up this attack and defense 25% every time he does a super attack, or I'm sorry, every time he does a normal attack or a super attack. It can be either. So we need to do 4 attacks to fully build him up, and then he will be ready to go. Now, what we can go ahead and start out here with is his domain. So let's go ahead and throw him here. It doesn't matter what slot we do it in, but let's go ahead and get his domain activated. This will be active for 4 turns, so we can go ahead and do this now, and then on turn 5, whenever this wears off, or actually, I guess it'll be on turn 6 whenever this wears off, but regardless, we will be able to watch the future Gohan domain go up, which will be nice. So let's go ahead and play this, get it up, and then talk about what it does. Alright, there we go. I do kind of like that OST, by the way. It's a bit of a bop. You know, I kind of like it. So, anyway, so now that we have this activated here, you can see for 4 turns, Future Saga category superclass enemies and allies get 10% attack and defense. So, with that activated, we are up to 198k defense here. And again, we need to do 4 attacks to fully build up. I'm just going to throw him here in slot 1, just because, you know, we can get those attacks in. And it's not like he gets links from this unit. This Trunks, his links are kind of bad. It's like Messenger from the Future is kind of whatever, but it's not really great. Cold Judgment and Dismal Future are fine. You can get those with Mai, like we have here. But Soul versus Soul, Z Fighters, Royal Lineage, like, Royal Lineage is fine, but specifically like Soul versus Soul and Z Fighters, he didn't need those. And then Shattering the Limit is just really not great on this team, because there's not really many good free-to-play units right now. So those are typically the only units with those links. There's a nice dodge from us. And he starts out here at a 3 million attack stat, again with 200k defense. Now he gets a lot of defense on his super attack there. No additional is a little unfortunate, but you know, I'll take the dodges. This guy does not have additionals in his passive. He does build up crit chance, though, so there is that. If you guys don't, like, if you just hate dodge for whatever reason, and you do not want to give this guy dodge, I would say go additional for him. That way he can get his passive built up a little bit faster, potentially. But I don't think even fully built up, this guy's going to be putting out super impressive numbers. So I think dodge is the way you do want to go with this guy. But again, you go with what you feel is correct in your heart. You know, whatever your heart guides you towards is what you should go for. I'm going to go ahead and cut here and come back whenever we have him on rotation again, though. All right, we're back on rotation here, and just a heads up, the INT Future Gohan took a super attack last turn. That's why our HP is pretty low, but it doesn't really matter here. Let's go ahead and, let's see, we can attack with Trunks. We can put him here in slot 1, that's fine. He's going to be able to get a super attack off. One thing about this Trunks is that most of his buffs come from, like, the Future and Time Travelers category, like, allies and enemies. So just for instance here, He does get an inherent 50% chance to crit when there is a Future Saga or Time Traveler category enemy. So, you know, I believe that's also his domain activation condition. If I go ahead and pull that up, I believe it is either turn 5 or when facing a Time Traveler. So, yeah, you pretty much just only want to be fighting Time Travelers with this guy, because that's going to give him the domain for the first couple of turns. And then it also gives him a 50% chance to crit. Now, he does build up another 20% chance to crit with each attack performed in his passive. I believe those are separate procs. So I think the 50% chance, since it's when facing an enemy, that should be like a, quote, start of turn, like crit chance. And then the 20% that he's building up with attacks, because that's on attack, that's actually going to be a separate, like, proc. I've talked about this in my defense calculation videos, but you can think about the game as having separate buckets for the different effects in the game. So you have like the start a turn bucket, you have like the on attack bucket, you have like, you know, when receiving an attack, that's actually in the same bucket. So really there's just like the start a turn bucket, the multiplicative bucket, and then there's like the super attack effect bucket, and then like the active skill bucket. Those are all like different buckets, right? So those two are going to be in separate buckets right there. So that's going to be a 50% chance and a 20% chance that he builds up. So it's not going to add up to a total of 70. I believe fully built up, it would add up to a total of 60, essentially, because the 50% chance would fail half the time, so you get half the buff for that 20% chance, because it'll only have a chance to activate 50% of the time. So, again, take a statistics class, you'll figure that out. So it adds up to a total of 60%. So, like, giving this guy crit, regardless, isn't really going to do anything for you. Is kind of the point that I'm getting across here. So really, if you just hate dodge and you do not want to give this guy dodge, crit is what you want to, or I'm sorry, additional is what you want to do. Crit is not, because this guy already has crit. So after one attack, and now with a ton of support on rotation, because we're getting support from both of these girls right here, we are up to 300k defense right here. Again, we can just grab some orbs with Mai. Let's make sure that she attacks Rose so that she can get her dodge. And then let's attack this guy. And I am going to heal. Nothing against, like, Trunks or anything, but if he took a super attack, I think we would take some significant damage. So I am going to go ahead and heal. This is a showcase. We're not trying to get, like, a no-item run. He's up to a 4 million attack stat right here. But yeah, like, using an item in this doesn't really, like, prove anything. It's just getting us back up to full health in case he dodged. He was at double-digit damage from the normals there. These guys don't hit super hard, but, you know, that is just nice to see in general. He built up, so that is 2 out of his 4 attacks that he needs to do. Again, we have to do, we have to do 4 attacks to fully build him up. So he's essentially halfway built up right here. And this is the last turn that we're going to have with the domain, I believe. Or maybe, technically, next turn might be the last turn, right? Because that would be the 4th turn right there, I think, is how that would work. And then we'll get him back on the 6th turn, essentially, so... Okay, so there we go. We have in future Gohan transforming. That's good. But I will cut and come back whenever we have Trunks on rotation again. Alright, I kind of missed it, but the domain is now no longer activated. Also, I forgot that there's a turn counter for it at the top, so I missed that last time. Ooh, can I put him in slot 1? He's at 346. That is not great. That is with 70%, you know, defense support from them. And, what is it, 50% from Mai, I believe? Oof. Yeah, Time Travelers, 40%, an additional 10% to Superclass. Ugh. That is 120% defense support right there. We're only at 346 without that domain up. That is a lot of attacks in slot 1. I do not think he could survive a super attack. Oh, that's with Cold Judgment up too. All of these characters have Cold Judgment. I'm going to put him in slot 1. We could die here, potentially, but, you know, that would just be, that'd just be the way the cookie crumbles here. So let's grab that. And then we'll grab this. So we're at full HP, you know, let's see what happens here. You don't really want to put Trunks in slot 1, but he does have 30 dodge. I mean, essentially that is a 1 in 3 chance to dodge. I mean, it's 3% off. Cut me a break. Okay, it's 3.333 repeating % off. Cut me a break, okay? It's essentially, though, a 1 in 3 chance to dodge, so... we could dodge this. No, but he only took 100k post-super attack, so that's... I forgot to unmute my microphone. That's my bad. So, here we go. We have Future Gohan's domain now. I guess I'll just talk and we'll go to the next rotation. So, again, that's my bad right there. Sorry, guys. Oh, I forgot. Well, we can watch this. Sure, why not? I'm totally fumbling the ball here. I'm so... my bad, guys. Oh, but anyway, what I was saying there was I wasn't sure if he was going to tank super well in slot 1. Because, yeah, I mean, it was just like I didn't know. But then I was impressed, you know, that he was taking double digits. And then I was saying he takes way too long to build up. You know, this is what? We're super far into this fight at this point. Oh, did I attack Rose? No, I'm attacking Zamasu. Yeah, okay. But yeah, we're on turn 7, and he's still not fully built up. It's going to be turn 8. Turn 8, and we're going to get our last attack in that we need to build this guy up, so that is definitely not what we want to see from, like, our new units. He does have the domain, which is nice, and I think maybe he potentially could help you in the Entrusted Will mission, but this is truly a dodge or die character, and it's not like he has, like, a good chance to dodge. Essentially, if you give him, like, the full dodge equips, you know, the best dodge equips, full dodge in his passive, he has essentially a medium chance to dodge. And so you have to weigh, is that 10% extra buff that you're getting from the domain worth bringing a character who's going to die instantly to any major boss, like including normals, with a 30% chance to dodge? Like, is that worth it? Do you, like, weigh that and you say, okay, is this 10% buff? Do we need this? Do we have to have this? Is it so imperative that we have this that I have to bring this total liability of a character, you know, into the fight? Another thing, too, is that we're juicing this guy a lot. And it's not that I wouldn't run, like, INT Mai or Physical Gawasu and Zamasu, but it's like, man, we are putting a lot of juice behind this guy, and he is just not responding well. So here we go. He doesn't link with this unit at all, by the way, which is bad. Oh, we do have Mai's Scouter. That's good, actually. Let me turn the skips on here. There we go. And then I can just play this here. That gives us a... Oh, no, we can't dodge, but that's fine. We'll put him here in slot 1. That'll give us, like, a nice defense boost. So, yeah, he's at 315 here. And that is where his defense caps out, essentially. So, 315 is what he has. He gets 50% when performing a super attack per Future Saga category ally. But that's additive to his 100% that he already has. So, if we divide out... What would that be? Essentially, we would have to divide this by 2, right? So let me double check some math real quick, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, I busted out Google Sheets for this, so here we go. We can take a look at his defense. So you can see I calced up to what we are right here. You can see he is at 315, 656. Here's a better look at it. All right, so that's what he's at currently right there, is 315, 656 right there. Again, we have done 3 supers so far, so we're not quite totally built up yet, but we will be after we do 1 more super. So anyway, this is what we're sitting at right now. Now, whenever he super attacks, right, he's going to get his last 25%, so this is going to become 100% buff, and then he also gets 100% when performing a super attack, he gets 50% on super attack per Future Saga ally other than himself attacking in the turn. So we're essentially going to get a additional 100% on super attack here, because Vegito Blue and Mai are, of course, you know, Future Saga. So those add together for a total of a 200% boost. So we essentially go from here to this, right? I believe, yep. So that's where we go from there. And then here is what we will be after Vegito Blue super attacks and after we super attack. So Trunks gets 30% on super, but Vegito Blue gets gives all, like, super... Is it superclass allies or all allies? All superclass allies 50% defense for 1 turn. That goes into this phase right here, I believe. So he will essentially be getting 80% on super attack right here. So he'll be close to 1,000,000 defense with a, you know, 30% chance to dodge because I gave him full dodge equips. But this is turn 8, guys. Like, I'm sorry I can't be impressed by a unit doing this on turn 8. You know, if he was doing this on turn, you know, like 4, I'd be pretty impressed. All things considered, you know, I'd be like, all right, this guy's kind of got something going for him, but... oh, and then one more thing. If we didn't have VB's, like, you know, 50% on super attack from his 18 key, this is where Trunks would be with just his 30% alone. And 700k defense is barely enough to, like, tank normals in the new red zone stages on turn 1. So, yeah, again, I can't be impressed by his stats right here, considering how long it takes him to build up. He's a fun unit. I think you could get some use out of him in maybe some older red zone stages, but if you're looking to get use out of this guy in, like, the current stages, I don't know that he's going to be incredibly useful for you. He's up to a 3.8 million attack stat, and again, this is pretty much the best we're going to see him the entire time. We can get one more rotation out of him just to show his start of turn defense, but what it should be, I can just show you right here. Is this. So next turn, what we should see is... Oh, wrong one. This one right here. So we should see this next turn right here. Is 367.50 is the defense we should see next turn with Vegito Blue and the STR Mai. So I will cut and come back just so that I can show you the 367.50 because we should have the same support and everything except we'll have 4 supers. So I'll be right back for the final rotation. Well, you know, I was going to try to get the KO with Trunks, but the future Gohans went a little crazy. So I was trying to do a little bit of damage to this guy, and then we got the Dokkan attack, and then INT future Gohan went like ham taro. So we did not get the extra turn that I wanted to get here, but it's okay. We're going to go ahead and move into the breakdown. We already saw what we needed to see from Trunks. That was his, you know, highest attack stat, essentially, that we were going to get, and that was also his max defense turn as well, and I showed you the calcs anyway, so it doesn't, like, really matter. So let's go ahead and move into the breakdown. Alright, this is the result of time traveling. Trunks Teen Future, the free-to-play INT domain. Trunks is how he is known, or how people like to refer to him. He leads Future Saga category key plus 3 HP attack and defense, 77% the stats, or INT type key plus 3 HP attack and defense, 50%. Nothing really notable here about his leader skill. If you have to use him for like an EZA area in the future that needs like Future Saga category allies, you know, maybe he could be a good leader then. Make sure you get this guy farmed up now. You don't want to be somewhere along the lines in the future going, man, I really want to do this really crazy multi, but I don't have this Trunks. I never farmed him up in his original celebration because I didn't think the multi then was worth it. Well, now you're potentially missing out on 2 multis if you don't do this guy now. Alright, well his super attack is the Burning Attack. It greatly raises attack for 1 turn, that's a 50% buff, and it raises defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy. Again, 50%, 30% right there. His passive skill, Unwavering Resolve, key plus 2, attack and defense 100% at the start of turn. He gets an additional attack and defense 25% up to 100% and a chance of performing a critical hit plus 5% up to 20% with each attack performed. You know, this is decent. It's a little slow, but it's decent. High chance performing a critical hit if there is a Future Saga or Time Travelers category enemy. Now, I really wish that this was high chance performing an additional attack. It's like he already builds up crit right here. This should just be an attack. He needs to do attacks. Why not give him an attack right here? You know, personally, if I was building him, I would have made this an attack right here, and then I think he would have been perfect. At least as a free-to-play unit. Because then, potentially, you could get 3 attacks on turn 1, and you would have this multi built up, ready to go, and then he would semi-be competitive in these new red zone stages. You know, he'd be able to get up to, like, 600, 700k defense on turn 1, and then he would really be competitive. But this being a crit, instead, means that it's going to take him longer to build up. He can only do a max of 2 attacks on a turn, and even then, like, half of this buff is not going to get you very far. So, I think if this was a super attack, we would have been in a much better spot, but that's my only major criticism with this character. It's like we didn't need double crit chance. One of these should have been like additional chance. Like imagine if he was building up like a chance to additional with 5% or something like that. Like at least, you know, you'd have a chance to triple super, which could be really good for this guy. He gets an additional attack and defense 50% when performing a super attack per Future Saga category ally in the same turn other than himself. So we saw there on the last turn, there were 2 other Future Saga category allies. It gave him an extra 100% attack and defense. That adds in with this buff, though. So instead of getting a total of a 100% buff here, it would become a 200% buff. So that's how that would work. And again, I kind of showed you guys how to calc that right over here. So, you know, figure out those numbers. I don't know. So, yeah, so that's what he's got. He has the active skill. I'm taking this fight somewhere else. I feel like we could get 100 versions of this. Every time Goku's like, let's go fight somewhere empty or whatever, like, we could get like that as an active skill on 100 units. Or as an intro whatever that just starts us out in, like, the Arctic 100 times. Creates the domain Wasteland Future for 4 turns. Can be activated when there is a Time Travelers category enemy or starting from the 5th turn from the start of turn. The effect is Future Saga category, superclass enemies and allies attack and defense get 10%. Pretty decent buff. 10%, that is a multiplicative buff at the, it's basically like an active skill buff, so that is good. It gets you a nice, 10% defense on your characters. That's definitely worth it. His link skills, these are pretty bad. Messenger from the Future, Cold Judgment, Royal Lineage, Soul vs. Soul, Z Fighters, Shattering the Limit, Dismal Future. Really, Z Fighters and Soul vs. Soul are, like, pretty much dead links on this guy. Some of these other ones I understand, but, like, man, these two really hurt him. His categories, we'll go over those in a second, but these are his 200% leaders. The nice thing is that these future Trunks units are on a ton of categories, so they are on multiple 200% leads, which is very nice. I was using them on this one in this showcase. If we scroll down here, again, these are his actual categories. You can take a second to look at those. These are his Easy A stats. Now, remember that my defense was 2,000 higher because of his unique equipments that you can farm up from his story event stage. The last stage in that event is where you can farm those up. Again, I recommend dodge and defense, but you go with whatever you want. If you want to try to max this guy's additional and attack, you go for it. But personally, if you want to get any value out of this guy long-term, you'll go for the dodge and the defense. All right, these are his best linking partners. It's just a bunch of Z Trunkses. We didn't really have any of these on the team with us. The only one worth anything is like maybe this guy, maybe, and I didn't bring him, and he still only shares 4 links, so it's not like that imperative. Yeah, and then just Trunkses. That's all we've got here. So let me know what you guys think about this INT Trunks right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to catch you guys next time.